The 5 a.m. rule that made millionaires successful. The power of dawn. Picture this. While the world sleeps, wrapped in the comfort of their beds, dreaming their dreams, there exists a secret society, a society of individuals who have discovered something extraordinary, something that has transformed their lives, their businesses, their entire existence. These people, CEOs, entrepreneurs, athletes, artists, and innovators, all share one common habit. They wake up at 5 a.m. You might be thinking, is it really that simple? Can waking up early really change my life? The answer is both yes and no. Yes, because the 5 a.m. rule is a powerful catalyst for transformation. No, because it's not just about waking up early, it's about what you do with that sacred time. Today, I'm going to take you on a journey that will reveal why some of the world's most successful people swear by the 5 a.m. rule. We'll explore the science behind it, hear the stories of those who've mastered it, and most importantly, I'll show you exactly how you can implement this life-changing habit starting tomorrow morning. Are you ready? Because your transformation begins at dawn. Chapter 1. The Millionaire's Secret Weapon. The Tim Cook Story. Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, one of the most valuable companies in human history, wakes up at 3:45 a.m. every single day. Let that sink in. The man running a trillion-dollar empire starts his day while most of us are in our deepest sleep. But Tim Cook isn't alone. Howard Schultz, the mastermind behind Starbucks' global domination, wakes up at 4:30 a.m. Richard Branson, founder of the Virgin Group, rises with the sun at 5 a.m. Michelle Obama, former First Lady and best-selling author, starts her workout at 4:30 a.m. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is in the gym by 4 a.m., moving iron while the world dreams. What do all these people know that you don't? They've discovered that the early morning hours are pure gold. These are the hours when your mind is freshest, your willpower is strongest, and the world hasn't yet made its demands on your time and energy. The biology of success. Let me share something fascinating with you. Your brain operates on what scientists call a circadian rhythm, your internal body clock. During the early morning hours, specifically between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m., your cortisol levels naturally peak. Now, you might have heard cortisol referred to as the stress hormone, but that's only part of the story. In the morning, cortisol is your friend. It sharpens your focus, enhances your memory, and gives you natural energy. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, creativity, and complex thinking, is at its most powerful during these hours. Think about it. When do you make your worst decisions? Usually late at night when you're tired, when your willpower is depleted, when you've already made 1,000 decisions throughout the day. But at 5 a.m., your decision-making reservoir is full. Your creativity is at its peak. Your mind is a blank canvas, ready to create masterpieces. The willpower advantage. Roy Baumeister, a renowned psychologist, discovered something revolutionary about willpower. It's not a constant force, it's more like a muscle that gets tired throughout the day. Every decision you make, every temptation you resist, every task you complete drains your willpower reserve. By the time most people get to the important work, building their business, writing their book, working on their health, their willpower tank is already running on empty. They've spent it all on traffic, work emails, family demands, and 1,000 micro decisions. But the 5 a.m. club? They tackle their most important work when their willpower is 100%. This is when millionaires write their business plans. This is when athletes train their bodies. This is when artists create their masterpieces. This is when the magic happens. Chapter 2. The 4 Pillars of the 5 a.m. Success Formula. The 5 a.m. rule isn't just about waking up early. It's about what you do with those precious morning hours. Successful people have discovered that the early morning should be divided into 4 critical pillars. I call this the Victory Hour Protocol. Pillar 1, movement, 20 minutes. The first thing you do when you wake up at 5 a.m. is move your body. Not tomorrow, not after coffee, immediately. Here's why this is non-negotiable. When you exercise first thing in the morning, you trigger a cascade of beneficial neurochemicals. Dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins flood your system. These aren't just feel-good chemicals, they're cognitive enhancers. They improve your focus, boost your mood, and increase your resilience to stress. Exercise also activates something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Scientists call this miracle grow for your brain. It literally helps your brain grow new neurons and strengthens existing neural connections. You don't need to run a marathon. You don't need to lift heavy weights. 20 minutes of movement is enough. This could be a brisk walk around your neighborhood as the sun rises, a yoga session in your living room, a quick HIIT workout, jump rope, push-ups, and bodyweight exercises, dancing to your favorite music. The key is to get your heart rate up and your blood flowing. When billionaire Richard Branson was asked about his #1 productivity tip, he didn't mention time management or delegation. He said, work out. He credits his morning exercise routine with giving him 4 additional hours of productive energy every single day. Pillar 2, reflection, 20 minutes. After you've moved your body, it's time to quiet your mind. This is your reflection time, your opportunity to connect with yourself before the world connects with you. This pillar can include meditation. Studies from Harvard, MIT, and Stanford have proven that meditation literally rewires your brain. It thickens the prefrontal cortex, decision-making, shrinks the amygdala, fear and anxiety, and improves focus and emotional regulation. Oprah Winfrey meditates every morning. So does Ray Dalio, founder of Bridgewater Associates, the world's largest hedge fund. Jeff Weiner, former CEO of LinkedIn, schedules meditation into his calendar like any other important meeting. Start with just 10 minutes. Sit quietly, focus on your breathing, and watch your thoughts without judgment. Apps like Headspace or Calm can guide you if you're new to meditation. Journaling. The second half of your reflection time should involve journaling. There's something almost magical about putting pen to paper in the quiet morning hours. Here's what you should journal about. Gratitude. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Gratitude rewires your brain to notice opportunity instead of obstacles. Millionaires know that gratitude isn't just a nice feeling, it's a competitive advantage. Your vision. Describe your ideal life as if it's already happened. I am so happy and grateful now that... This isn't woo-woo nonsense. When you vividly imagine your goals, your brain can't distinguish between imagination and reality. It starts finding ways to make that vision real. Today's priorities. Write down your top 3 priorities for the day. Not 10 things, not 20, 3. This clarity prevents you from majoring in minor things. Jim Rohn, the legendary success philosopher, said, "If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much." The reflection pillar ensures you're designing your day, not reacting to it. Pillar 3, growth, 20 minutes. Here's a truth that separates the successful from the struggling. Leaders are readers. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest people on earth, spends 80% of his day reading. Bill Gates reads 50 books per year. Mark Cuban reads for 3 hours every day. Elon Musk learned to build rockets by reading. But here's the problem most people face. I don't have time to read. That's because they're trying to read at night when they're exhausted, or during the day when they're distracted. The 5 a.m. club reads during their growth time. 20 minutes of focused reading equals about 25 to 30 pages, depending on the material. That's one book per week, 52 books per year. Think about this. If you read one book per month on your industry, your craft, or personal development, in 1 year, you'll have read 12 books. In 5 years, 60 books. You'll be in the top 1% of experts in your field, all from 20 minutes a day. What should you read? Biographies of successful people. Learn from those who've walked the path before you. Industry-specific knowledge. Stay ahead of trends in your field. Pillar 4. Planning, 20 minutes. The final pillar of your victory hour is planning. This is where you take control of your day before the day takes control of you. Most people are reactive. They wake up, check their phone, see emails and messages, and immediately enter response mode. They spend their entire day reacting to other people's agendas. The 5 a.m. club is proactive. They plan their day with intention. Here's your planning protocol. Review your goals. Look at your quarterly goals, monthly goals, and weekly goals. This keeps them at the forefront of your mind. Identify your MIT, most important task. What is the one thing that, if completed today, would make everything else easier or unnecessary? This is your MIT. Schedule it first, ideally during your peak productivity hours. Time block your day. Don't just make a to-do list. Assign specific.
Chapter 3. The Science Behind the Magic. Let's talk about why this actually works, because understanding the why will strengthen your commitment to the how. The prefrontal cortex advantage. Your prefrontal cortex is the CEO of your brain. It's responsible for complex decision-making, strategic thinking, impulse control, focus and attention, goal-directed behavior. Throughout the day, your prefrontal cortex gets tired. It's making hundreds of decisions, solving problems, controlling impulses. By evening, it's exhausted. This is why you make poor decisions at night, eating junk food, watching too much TV, scrolling social media for hours. But at 5 a.m., your prefrontal cortex is fresh. It's ready to tackle complex problems, make important decisions, and do deep, meaningful work. Neuroscientist Dr. Daniel Levitin explains that we have a limited amount of mental energy each day. Every decision, no matter how small, depletes this energy. Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day. Mark Zuckerberg does the same. Why? To preserve their decision-making energy for what matters. The 5 a.m. rule preserves your mental energy by front-loading your most important work when your cognitive resources are at their peak. The compound effect of consistency. Darren Hardy wrote a book called The Compound Effect that beautifully illustrates this principle. Small, consistent actions, compounded over time, create extraordinary results. Let's do the math on the 5 a.m. rule. If you wake up at 5 a.m. instead of 7 a.m., you gain 2 hours per day. That's 14 hours per week. That's 60 hours per month. That's 730 hours per year. 730 hours per year translates to more than 30 full days. By waking up at 5 a.m., you literally gain an extra month each year. But it gets better. These aren't just any hours. These are your best hours, your most focused, most creative, most productive hours. Imagine what you could accomplish with an extra month of peak productivity every year. Write that book you've been thinking about. Build that business you've been planning. Transform your body and health. Develop a valuable new skill. Deepen your relationships. Create financial freedom. The compound effect isn't just about time, it's about momentum. Success breeds success. Each morning victory builds confidence. Each completed goal makes the next one easier. Each day you win at 5 a.m., you reinforce the identity of a high performer. The hormonal advantage. Your body operates on hormonal rhythms, and understanding these gives you a massive advantage. Cortisol. As mentioned earlier, cortisol peaks naturally between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. This gives you natural energy and alertness, no coffee required, though coffee at this time works synergistically with your natural cortisol. Testosterone. For both men and women, testosterone levels are highest in the morning. Testosterone isn't just about muscle and reproduction. It's crucial for confidence, assertiveness, and willingness to take risks. Morning is when you should tackle your scariest challenges. Growth hormone. During deep sleep and early morning, your body produces growth hormone, which aids in recovery, muscle building, and fat burning. Morning exercise capitalizes on this hormonal state. Melatonin. The sleep hormone melatonin decreases as morning light hits your eyes. This is why getting sunlight exposure early, even for just 5 to 10 minutes, is crucial. It sets your circadian rhythm properly, making it easier to fall asleep at night and wake up the next morning. By aligning your activities with your natural hormonal rhythms, you're working with your biology, not against it.
Chapter 4. Real Stories from the 5 a.m. Club. Theory is powerful, but stories inspire. Let me share some real transformations from people who embraced the 5 a.m. rule. Sarah's story, from struggling employee to successful entrepreneur. Sarah was a 32-year-old marketing manager, stuck in a job she hated, dreaming of starting her own consulting business, but never finding the time or energy. She was constantly exhausted. After work, she'd come home drained, watch Netflix, order takeout, and collapse into bed around midnight. She'd wake up at 7:30 a.m., rush through her morning, and arrive at work already stressed. For years, she'd told herself she'd start her business when things slowed down or when I have more energy, but that day never came. Then she discovered the 5 a.m. rule. She was skeptical at first. "I'm not a morning person," she insisted, but she decided to try it for just 30 days. The first week was brutal. Her body resisted. She felt tired, but she stuck with it. By week 2, something shifted. She started her victory hour, 20 minutes of yoga, 20 minutes of meditation and journaling, 20 minutes reading business books, and 20 minutes planning her consulting business. By month 3, she had built a complete business plan, created a website, and signed her first 2 clients, all before going to her day job. Within a year, her side consulting business was making more than her salary. She quit her job and went full-time with her company. Today, 3 years later, Sarah runs a 7-figure consulting agency. She credits everything to the 5 a.m. rule. "Those morning hours," she says, "are when I built my empire. While everyone else was sleeping, I was building my dream." Marcus's story, from 280 pounds to Ironman finisher. Marcus was a 45-year-old accountant who weighed 280 pounds. His doctor warned him about diabetes, heart disease, and high blood pressure. He had tried every diet, every fitness program. Nothing stuck. The problem wasn't knowledge. Marcus knew what to do. The problem was consistency. After long days at work and evenings with family obligations, exercise was always the first thing to get dropped. When Marcus committed to waking up at 5 a.m., everything changed. He started simple, just a 20-minute walk around his neighborhood. No pressure, no judgment, just movement. After 2 weeks, he added light jogging intervals. After a month, he joined a gym and started lifting weights. After 3 months, he had lost 30 pounds, but the transformation went beyond physical. The discipline of waking up at 5 a.m. bled into other areas. He started eating better, not because he was forcing himself, but because he respected the body he was building each morning. The confidence from his morning victories made him bolder at work. He started speaking up in meetings, sharing his ideas. He got promoted. 2 years later, Marcus had lost 100 pounds, but he didn't stop there. At 47 years old, he completed his first Ironman triathlon, a 2.4-mile swim, a 112-mile bike ride, and 26.2-mile marathon. The 5 a.m. rule, Marcus says, didn't just change my body, it changed who I am. It taught me that I'm capable of so much more than I ever believed. Elena's story, from burnout to balance. Elena was a successful attorney at a prestigious law firm. She was making great money, but she was miserable. She worked 70 to 80-hour weeks, had no work-life balance, and was on the verge of burnout. She woke up at 7 a.m. in a panic, immediately checked her phone, and was flooded with urgent emails. She'd grab coffee on the way to the office and spend the next 12 hours in reactive mode, putting out fires, attending meetings, responding to demands. By the time she got home, she was too mentally exhausted to enjoy her life. Her relationship was suffering, her health was declining, she hadn't read a book for pleasure in years. One Sunday evening, while dreading Monday morning, she came across an article about the 5 a.m. rule. Something clicked. The next morning, she woke up at 5 a.m. The first thing she did was put her phone in another room, no checking emails. She made herself tea, sat in her favorite chair, and just breathed.
For the first time in years, she experienced silence, peace, solitude. She used that first morning to journal. She wrote about her life, her values, what mattered most to her. She realized she had been living everyone else's priorities except her own. Elena committed to the 5 a.m. rule. Her victory hour became sacred. 20 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes writing in her gratitude journal, 20 minutes reading philosophy and literature, 20 minutes planning her day with intention. The transformation was profound. Chapter 5. How to Actually Do It. The Implementation Guide. Now comes the most important part. How do you actually implement the 5 a.m. rule? Because knowing and doing are two very different things. The transition strategy. Don't try to go from waking up at 8 a.m. to 5 a.m. overnight. That's a recipe for failure. Your body needs time to adjust. Week 1 to 2. Wake up 15 minutes earlier than usual. If you normally wake at 7 a.m., set your alarm for 6:45 a.m. This gentle shift helps your body adapt without shock. Week 3 to 4, add another 15 minutes. Now you're waking at 6:30 a.m. Week 5 to 6, another 15 minutes. You're at 6:15 a.m. Week 7 to 8, continue this pattern until you reach 5 a.m. This gradual approach allows your circadian rhythm to adjust naturally. It's sustainable. It prevents the shock and resistance that cause most people to quit. The evening ritual. The 5 a.m. rule actually starts the night before. Your evening routine is crucial. 8 to 9 p.m. Begin wind-down protocol. Dim the lights in your home. Bright lights suppress melatonin production. Turn off screens or use blue light blocking glasses. The blue light from phones and computers tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime. Prepare tomorrow's clothes, meals, and materials. Eliminate morning decisions. 9 to 10 p.m. Final preparations. Set out your workout clothes. Prepare your coffee or tea setup. Write down tomorrow's top 3 priorities. Take a warm shower. The subsequent cool down helps trigger sleepiness. 10 p.m., lights out. To wake up at 5 a.m. feeling refreshed, you need to be asleep by 10 p.m. This gives you 7 hours of sleep, the minimum most adults need. I know what you're thinking. I can't fall asleep at 10 p.m. Not at first, but your body will adapt. After a week of waking up at 5 a.m., you'll be tired by 10 p.m. naturally. The alarm clock strategy. Here's a game changer. Don't put your alarm clock next to your bed. Place it across the room.
This forces you to physically get out of bed to turn it off. Once you're standing, you've already won half the battle. Name your alarm something motivating. Instead of alarm, call it time to build your empire, or victory hour, or your dreams are waiting. Use a sunrise alarm clock that gradually increases light, mimicking natural sunrise. This makes waking up much more pleasant. The 5-second rule. Mel Robbins discovered something powerful. The moment you hit snooze, you activate a neural pattern of procrastination that affects your entire day. Instead, use the 5-second rule. The moment your alarm goes off, count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then immediately get up. Don't negotiate with yourself. Don't think about it. Just move. This interrupts the pattern of overthinking and hesitation. It builds the muscle of immediate action. The accountability system. Going alone is hard. Here's how to stack the odds in your favor. Find a 5 a.m. accountability partner, someone else who's committed to the 5 a.m. rule. Text each other every morning when you wake up. The social pressure and mutual support are powerful. Track your streak. Get a calendar and mark an X for every day you successfully wake up at 5 a.m. Don't break the chain. Jerry Seinfeld used this method to become one of the most successful comedians ever. Join a community. There are online communities, Facebook groups, and local meetups for early risers. Being part of a tribe makes the habit stronger. Make a commitment contract. Tell important people in your life about your commitment. Better yet, put money on the line. Use apps like Stick or BeamMinder that charge you if you break your commitment. The first 30 days, what to expect. Let's be real about what this journey looks like. Days 1 to 7. Chapter 6. Overcoming Obstacles. Let's address the common obstacles and objections. I'm not a morning person. This is a most common objection, and it's largely a myth. Stanford sleep researcher Dr. Jamie Zeitzer found that while some genetic variation exists in chronotypes, whether you're naturally a lark or an owl, most people can successfully adapt to early rising. The truth is, you're not a morning person because you've never consistently been a morning person. Your identity follows your behavior, not the other way around. I can't fall asleep early. This is a symptom, not a cause. You can't fall asleep early because you're consuming caffeine too late, cut off caffeine by 2 p.m. You're looking at screens before bed, stop 1 hour before sleep. Your bedroom isn't optimized, too warm, too bright, too loud. Fix these factors and falling asleep early becomes natural. I'll be tired all day. Only for the first week or two. Your body needs time to adjust, but after adaptation, you'll have more energy, not less. Here's why. Poor sleep isn't about duration, it's about quality and consistency. Sleeping from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m., 7 hours of quality sleep on a consistent schedule, is far better than sleeping from midnight to 8 a.m., 8 hours of inconsistent, low-quality sleep. Plus, the victory hour activities, exercise, meditation, and planning actually increase your energy throughout the day. I don't have time for an hour-long morning routine. Then don't do an hour. Start with 20 minutes. Even 20 minutes of intentional morning time is better than zero. But also examine this belief. You're saying you don't have time for activities that will make you more productive, focused, and energized? That's like saying you don't have time to sharpen your axe because you're too busy chopping wood. The victory hour doesn't take time from your day. It multiplies your effectiveness in all other hours. What about weekends? Here's the hard truth. Consistency is everything. If you wake up at 5 a.m. on weekdays but sleep until 9 a.m. on weekends, you're sabotaging yourself. Imagine training for a marathon by running Monday through Friday, then not running on weekends.
Your body never fully adapts. The most successful members of the 5 a.m. club maintain their schedule 7 days a week. Your circadian rhythm doesn't know the difference between Tuesday and Saturday. That said, you can occasionally allow yourself a sleep-in day to 6 or 6:30 a.m., but maintain the victory hour routine regardless of when you wake up. What if I have kids or family responsibilities? This is exactly why you need the 5 a.m. rule. Parents especially benefit from having time before the chaos begins. Many successful parents wake up at 5 a.m. specifically because it's the only time they have for themselves. By the time the kids wake up at 6:30 or 7, you've already exercised, centered yourself, and prepared for the day. You're a better parent when you've taken care of yourself first. As they say on airplanes, put your own oxygen mask on before helping others.
Chapter 7. Advanced Tactics for the 5 a.m. Elite. Once you've mastered the basics, here are advanced strategies to take your 5 a.m. practice to the next level. The Power Hour Variation. Instead of the 20-20-20 split, some high performers use the first hour as a single power hour focused entirely on their most important project. For example, writers use this hour for writing their book. Entrepreneurs use it for strategy and business development. Artists use it for creative work. Students use it for their most challenging subject. The key is to use this hour for creation, not consumption. Build something. Make progress on what matters most. The Miracle Morning Stack. Hal Elrod, author of The Miracle Morning, suggests adding affirmations to your routine. These are positive statements about who you're becoming and what you're achieving. The science supports this. When you repeatedly affirm your goals and identity, you create new neural pathways. Your brain begins to see these statements as reality, and your behavior unconsciously aligns. Example affirmations. I am a disciplined, focused entrepreneur building a successful business. I am healthy, strong, and energized. I am worthy of success and abundance. I take bold action toward my goals every single day. Speak these aloud during your reflection time. It may feel awkward at first, but the psychological impact is real. The Peak Performance Protocol. Some elite performers take the 5 a.m. rule even further with this protocol. 4:45 a.m., wake up, immediately drink 16 ounces of water with lemon. 5 a.m., cold shower, 90 seconds, to activate your sympathetic nervous system. 5:05 a.m., breath work, Wim Hof method or similar, for energy and focus. 5:15 a.m., intense exercise, weights, sprints, or HIIT. 5:35 a.m., protein-rich breakfast. 5:50 a.m., meditation and visualization. 6:10 a.m., deep work on most important task. This is advanced. Don't start here, but once you've mastered the basic 5 a.m. rule, you can experiment with protocols like this. The Sunday Strategy Session. Use Sunday mornings for a special extended session. Wake up at 5 a.m. and spend 2 to 3 hours on weekly review, what worked last week, what didn't, goal assessment, are you on track with monthly and quarterly goals, weekly planning, map out the coming week in detail, learning, take an online course, read extensively or develop skills, creative projects, work on your side business, book, or passion project. This Sunday strategy session sets you up for a winning week.